good. Welcome in. We're getting everything all set up. Welcome in, everybody. Sorry, it is chaos today. All right, we need to change microphones real quick. Let me get that engaged right now. It's going to be a little echoey for a moment. And we're going to bring this out. This is all my tangled wires. You guys get a true behind the scenes look. There we are. All right, so we're going to disengage this one now. There we go. There, much better. What's up? Hi, Dragonfly. Oh, North Carolina prospector. What's up? Are you a prospector? Like, for real? That'd be awesome. Like gold prospector? That'd be amazing. I've always found that to be very fascinating. All right, so welcome to the stream. This is the chaos I deal with every day. So I thought I'd just go live and show you all the craziness of what happens in my life as we go live. All the crap that happens before it. So anyway, this is the little rose that we have here. This is the electrum. And I kind of have this little guy buzzing around. I think we're going to incorporate it into a flower sculpture today. So we're going to pop it in here and repurpose it and work with that. So yeah, this is my life. This is the daily studio life. This is what happens every day before I go live. Let me grab something over here. I wish I had a camera that I could take around with me so that you guys could see it. Like as I'm walking around grabbing materials and whatnot. I need to incorporate that ability. I think I need to get like a DJI webcam, action cam or something that I can stream around with you guys. Okay, I got all that done. Got to open my Mountain Dew. We got to power ourselves up from Mountain Dew. It's early morning. I don't care. We're going to power ourselves with Mountain Dew. I need the boost. I need the boost. All right, let's pull this chat out. There we go. All right, so let's ignite the flame. So last night, the stream, remember I was saying, I don't know if you guys were on my stream last night, kept saying the pressure of the oxygen fell off. So my liquid tank was definitely not building pressure, which is normal. I didn't have the pressure gauge enacted. So it was a little crazy. All right, couple things that we're going to go through with the stream. First off, the arrowhead we made last night. Let's talk about that. So this is it here. We're going to actually bring in the side camera. Hopefully it's working. There we go. So this is the arrowhead we did last night. Okay, you can notice that big old crack right there. Okay, it did crack right there. And that happens. That's just a stress crack. We're going to take it in, pop it in the kiln and fix that. But I'm going to show you what it'll look like when we're all done. Look at that. That's the point behind it right there. Isn't that beautiful? Looking good. So we got that. And then if you shine a normal light on it, not black light, you can see it has that kind of golden green look to it and clear. So anyway, we got that to address. We're going to pop that in the kiln because I'm going to fix that crack right away. It may actually crack in half from preheating it too. And then we have a couple things we're going to work on today as we're going through. This is the leaf that we did last night. Kind of like a live kiln reveal, right? So we're going to bring it out. There is the leaf from yesterday. So this one is the gold fumed on top of caramel color. Okay, we did gold on top of caramel. And we're going to use the regular light on here and look at that. See how it kind of turned purpley? This is the side that really looks beautiful. See how purple that is? Fuchsia. So that is the leaf that we have there, but the most impressive part is the one we did the pink over the fuming. Look at that. Now, I don't know if you can see the detail in there. I'm kind of shaking it around. Now watch. Can you see those striations in there where it doesn't just look like normal glass? It kind of has all these little leafy patterns in it. That's what I'm talking about right there. I'm going to try and get it up close. There. See all those little striations of color bouncing in there? That's the fuming on top of the pink as we bring it in. And that's what I'm talking about right there. Beautiful combo. That is a keeper. Yeah, that is definitely a keeper. 100%. I think that is a definite, it's a little extra work, but it's worth it. I think in the end, it's definitely worth it. So we're going to park this off to the side. I got to trim that flower up a little. So we always have to trim the bottom end because we have this sharp version down there. It's not good. What's up, Washington cowgirl? Anyway, I forgot to see. I think we had Prospector in here. And I didn't see the answer if he's a prospector. Anyway, I've always been fascinated by gold panning. I've always wanted to do it. And I really, really, really want to do it. I just don't know where to go or what to do. All right, so we're going to trim this guy up and add it to a collection of things. I'm really liking this. All right, let me measure it out. So one of the little things I have on my bench is little squares on here. They're 1-inch squares. And they give me the ability to measure out all my items instantaneously. I also have a ruler on the other side if I really need super detailed, but for the most part, the little squares on my bench work. So we're going to trim that up and round it out. So when you're doing certain things with flowers, this little butt end right here, let's see if I have one that's pointy. I don't know if I do. You always want to kind of round it out. The ends, not pointy. A lot of people make these little pointy ends on here. Actually, I'll just show you the difference. We're going to go to side view for the moment. What's up, Ray? All right, so we do these little rounded out edges. And the reason we're rounding that out is so that when you go to put it in something, it's not stabbing the bottom of whatever you're putting it in. Even dirt. This will go into dirt, no problem, even with the rounded end. But a lot of people pull it this way, and it annoys the hell out of me. And I'll explain what the problem is as we do it. So there is the pointy end, like that. And they do it because they think it's going to fit in the dirt better. And that is not the case. That's never going to work well. One, it makes a point where it's going to actually break. Makes it much easier for that little tip to break, which will, in other words, bring it all the way down too. It'll crack the entire stem. Eventually, we round it out like that. So these are little finished details you want to do in life with glass blowing. Just little kind of details like that. So we have the full stem rounded out. These are minor little adjustments that should be made. All right, we're going to park this guy again. Hot end always goes away from you. I'm going to park this somewhere out of my way. There. Hot end always away from you. We're going to be working on a couple Lucy and uranium pieces. So this is the mushroom that we did with Lucy and uranium. But more importantly, we're going to do the bird today. And that's this guy. We're going to bring it into the side view and get started. If I can get it untangled. All right, we're going to go to side view one last time here. Going to drop the bird in. Bird is the word. Let's angle it so y'all can see it. But now you can see the glow of the uranium and the Lucy. There. So that is the uranium and Lucy bird. I love this little guy. I think he's cool as hell, especially under black light. And then we shine it with a regular light, and you can see it's just absolutely gorgeous with regular lighting. There's nothing wrong with this bird in either case. But this is just freaking awesome. What's up, Glenn? All right, so hi, Ray. Well, good morning to you. So we're going to make this guy real quick. Let me grab the Lucy and get started. We have to find the Lucy, though. This is where, again, I wish I had a camera to show you all how I do this and what goes into it. Oh, you're a little short, stubby Lucy. You're a little bigger. All right, we got some smaller Lucy rods here, which is perfect. So this is the Lucy glass here. It's super reddish under black light. Like that. Nice thing about this is it's definitely no uranium involved in it, so it makes it just amazing. All right, let's bring this all in together and combine it. We'll start making a bird out of it. Let's move the frit. Yeah, we don't need the frit for this guy. So we're going to combine this all together, start the bird process, and make a couple of these because I want them on hand. Okay, there. We're just extending the life of this glass. How's everybody doing today anyways? Y'all doing good? Yeah, the flowers in the front are the Valentine flowers, correct. They actually have little labels on them with A, B, C, D. So if you have a question about which flower is what, I can make it work. I can actually show it to you in live. Okay, there is the Lucy right there. See, this is the problem with Lucy. Can't tell which one is Lucy and which one's not. Okay, one is clear, one is not. And until you hit it with the black light, you are at the mercy of guessing. So there is Lucy, there's clear. Total difference. And I just got confused again. Which one is which? Okay, there we go. All right, so let's get started making the Lucy bird with uranium. I actually have a couple orders for these guys, so we need to engage it. Why are you doing that? Something feels off. All right. We'll figure it out later. You bought C? Do I have one to show? I do, actually. Give me 1 second here. Let me trim this off, and I will show you letter C. Stephanie created this. I did not do that. She is the genius behind figuring out how to keep everything balanced. Bring this up. She keeps me organized. Because otherwise I am a freaking tornado. Okay, where is that's B? Okay, that has to be D. This has to be C. Okay, this is C. I'm going to bring it up. What's up, Lori? How are you doing? We're going to bring C into the close-up view. All right, there is C. See the little C label there? That is C, and we're going to shine it with the little light here. And then you can see all the colors translating through that. Isn't that beautiful? So that is C right there. I'm doing good. Yeah, that is definitely C. Then we bring it back. Not worried about anymore. I meant to stay. If I will not, then I will go. Nothing can be changed. I'm sorry, Melissa, things are bad for you, but yeah. Is it normal not to wear gloves when glass working? Yes. Very normal. And I'll explain that in the best possible way I can while we're working. Also requested to order a small rose and vase in uranium. Okay, we can definitely take a look at that. That is definitely a Stephanie question there. I'm reaching way over. Yeah, I'm getting close to that flame, but it's okay. Can you see A and B? Sure. We can definitely do that. I think I just had B. There's B. All right, before we get started, I'm going to show some people some stuff here. Hello. Welcome in. Yeah, I hope you're doing well, Melissa. Okay, there we go. There is B. So B is a very heavy gold fumed rose like this. Very, very beautiful. Okay, that is B on the scale. And then there's without light. I think it's gorgeous by itself too. And then A should be the silver fumed version with a hint of gold. I know this is A. No, that's D. Holy crap. I was wrong. This is A. So we're going to bring A out. This is a color, sorry. This is a color combo that I was not anticipating it would do with the gold and cobalt. And then it changes that way. This is a very, very color changing morphing glass. Okay, it definitely morphs according to its environment. I kind of like it with not as much light on it. So if I was going to display this in a vase somewhere, I would put it in a place that has not a lot of light, you know, very, very little. So that's how I would display it. But yeah, that is one unique color combo right there that I was not anticipating to have happen. Yeah, both of them are great. There's nothing up here that I don't like. We haven't implemented the peace rose yet into the account. It is a hard decision, 100%. Absolutely, I completely get it's a hard decision. Sorry, I had to grab a drink there. All right, let's get started on this bird. And if you have questions while we're going, I will be happy to try and answer it. So what's going on right now, this is my daily stream. And I'm trying to incorporate different aspects into the stream. So today, I was setting up a new webcam because we have the side view. I also want to do a very up-close view at a different angle. And I want to be able to control that via either a hotkey with the keyboard or a foot pedal. I have this thing called an Elgato foot pedal. And I want to see if I can maybe incorporate that with a hotkey to be able to just step on a pedal and change the camera view without moving my hands. Yeah, Barbara, you know what? You could splurge and do both. I'm just kidding. I'm not trying to do a hard sell. Don't take it as the used car salesman. I thought it was just funny. Just do both. All right, here we go. We're going to make the bird. There we go. So this is the Lucy body on this. And it is the very bright pink. Oh, I got you, Barbara. And whatever you choose, I'll make sure it's beautiful and we can We can schedule a time if you want to see one of them being made on live stream. We can definitely do that. We can definitely make one of them on live. We have one scheduled for tonight at 5:30. We have a flower being made for someone that purchased the flower, and this is the Valentine's version of it. So when we do the live, I'm gonna say this is meant for the person's name on the live stream, and then make that flower for them on live so that their significant other or husband or wife can go ahead and say, see, I had this made specifically for you on live. It wasn't just an afterthought. All right, let's go ahead and pull this down. So this is that little extension I do here. Like that. Man, I don't know what is in the air. The sun is out right now, and the allergies are kicking my butt. Not fun. Hold on one second. There, I just had to clear my throat. I didn't want to do it on live really loud. Okay, so let's get this done. We're going to bring it in and start adding the tail portion. This is the uranium glass we got going. And we're just going to build these guys up one at a time here. There we are. Half a tail. We're going to come over and make the other half. Like that. And one more after this. And there we are. We're all good to go. Okay, so this is the tail to the bird. Like that. What's up, Red Squeak? And we're going to come through and we're going to attach a little bit of a holding rod on here. As the little bits fall off. So those little bits fall off as you heat, cool, it creates a lot of stress fractures in it. And then when you reheat it, they just kind of pop off. Oh, where'd that go? Hold on one second. I got to go look at something. 1 second. That was not a good place for it to land. Okay. I had a little piece of glass fly and it rolled off into Never Never Land, but it landed on the concrete, so I'm good. Concrete's okay. Data cables, not so much. Okay, so we're going to make the head on here. And there we go. Just a little bit at a time, just adding tiny little bits. What I do like about the Lucy color, that pinky color, is that it has 0 uranium in it. It is not in any way, shape, or form radioactive at all. The material they use for it is pretty far from it. So that part makes it super nice. All right, let's put a little hook on here. I forgot to even clean my bench this morning. I've just been running around so crazy. You guys have no idea how much I've been running around. I've been up since 4 a.m. trying to get stuff done, packing orders and trying to set things up with the cameras and all that fun stuff. I wish I could show the behind the scenes of that, but like I said, I just don't have a camera that I can walk around with that is suitable right now. I can have my phone, but I can't hold the phone and do the tasks that I need to get done. But it'd be fun to take you behind the scenes, right? Your son is watching and would like to know how hot the flame is. Well, Lane, the flame is about 3,800 degrees Fahrenheit. Right about now, that's about the temperature. Now, when we kick it up a little bit, meaning a little bit hotter, we can go up to like 4,000 degrees Fahrenheit. So it can get pretty hot. And thank you for asking the question. You always wanted to blow glass? I highly recommend, if you get the opportunity to do it, do it. Definitely do it. All right, so we're going to make the wings here. Yeah, this morning, this stream is meant to do production. This is like my daily life. This is exactly what my life is like, to actually do this as a job. Okay, not the fun streams, but kind of doing the job. And if you have questions, this is the time to ask them so I can answer them. Because I have a little more opportunity. The items that I'm making, I've done it for so long that it doesn't really affect me to be able to look at the screen and ask questions. How much does it cost to have that flame always running? Not much, actually. Less than it costs to keep your PC running or your phone. I probably will tell you it's less than the energy it costs to run your PC or your phone. It's really not that bad. How much does a glass blower make? A lot. If you do it right. I'm not going to give you my income. No, by any means. But you could do well. Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, you're not going to be Elon, but you could do pretty well. But there are a lot of people that don't do it correctly, and they don't run it like a business. They run it like a little fantasy club. And they don't run their glassblowing business like a business. And that has been a problem in the industry for many years. The whole thing got really the mentality of the whole thing got destroyed basically when the pipe scene happened. So like all the smoking products. When that really exploded back in the early 2000s, it created a lot of glass blowers that really had it too easy. And so they didn't take the job seriously. And now they're suffering for that. And what I mean by that is there was a time where you could literally just go in your shop and work for 2 or 3 hours and go to a shop in San Francisco or Berkeley or wherever you were locally at, walk into a store with your product and walk out with $2,000 or $3,000 in a matter of minutes. And your production time was roughly 2 hours a day, maybe. Now that's not the case. I mean, it has definitely changed. But back in the early 2000s, it was not unusual to be able to take your product, walk into a head shop. Typically, they're called head shops back in the day. I don't know what they're called now, but walk into a head shop and walk out of there in 10 minutes with $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 without question. Like in hours. All right, we're going to bring this in. Man, the sun is glaring in on me right now. You guys get the view on me. The sun is blaring in. I may actually have to shut that window. And I'll show you why we may have to shut that window. So there's the bird. Oh, did you crack? No. There it is. Let's see if we can do the magic. All right. So notice the flame right now. The sun is blaring in. If it creeps over a little bit more, it will make the flame actually disappear. And I mean literally disappear. Right now it's not doing that. It's just at this visual point. It's really distracting though. I think I'm going to shut that window. It's really distracting the hell out of me. It just needed to move up an inch or two. And I could show you, but I'm not going to wait. We're just going to shut it now. There. It's still going to blaze in, but not as bad. No, it's not expensive at all, Big D. Honestly, the flame, like I go through maybe 1.5 gallons of propane a day, max. So it's not terrible at all. And if you know, like a barbecue sized tank would last 3 days. It's not a terrible thing at all. Okay, so next step, we just finished the bird that we had here. This is the uranium bird with the Lucy glass. So this is the one we just finished. You can kind of see, well, without the sun blaring in, you can see it has that pink hue to it. It's all UV reactive. Yeah, I'm going to have to block that window. That is not fun to deal with right now. I can't do it right now. I just have to do it in the next session. All right, let's expand the uranium. I'm going to grab a little tiny chunk over here and fuse them together. This way we could get as much uranium glass done as possible. There we are. And I think we're okay. So I do have to make a hummingbird with flower too. I try to answer as many questions as I can. You know, without interrupting too much stuff. All right, so there we extended the life of this uranium glass by adding another extension on it. Behind me, in that little vase up here, is a bunch of little shorts of uranium. And because of the cost and the rarity of the glass, I try and extend as much as possible of that. All right, so we have to make a hummingbird flower. I'm going to show you what it looks like. In fact, we can move the peace roses at the moment out of the way and just bring it into play so y'all could see it physically. I'm going to lay that down. I wonder if I have room to stick this guy in here. I did. There, got that out of the way. so this is what we're gonna do a variation of this right here. Now, the one I'm gonna do is a single bird on the flower, but we're gonna make this right here. Now, this little thing is an extra hanger. Unfortunately, it's not anything wrong with it, but you can see visually that kind of flowery look to it. Is that glowing pink to you guys? Is that mushroom down there glowing pink? Like right here? Does it look pink to you? I don't have any black light on that. That is literally the sun coming in on it. I have no black light on it. None. That is a total trip. I don't know why it's doing that. Because when I add the black light, it gets super bright, but yeah, I don't have a black light on it. None. That's interesting. Gonna have to figure that out. All right, so we're gonna make this guy in the blues and greens. We got to do that right now. And this is for an actual order. So it'll be a fun little project. Let's go ahead and get it done. We're gonna make the flower. We're gonna start with a blue, cobalt blue. And we're going to build up a little section of this cobalt. And then we're going to add some green to it and spiral it in there, kind of making it an organic looking color. Put what up to the camera? The mushroom? I can't do that right now. I just started this. I'm fully committed now. Man, that sun is blaring in on me. I look like a freaking ghost coming in. That is, I don't know what the hell happened. I never had this. It's like the entire sun changed its freaking direction. Oh, I know why. Because this is the first day we actually have sun and it's not cloudy. That's why. Yeah, I feel like I'm a freaking ghost right now. Ghostly colors on me. Okay, so we're going to build this blue up. We're going to incorporate the green. And make it look awesome. Yeah, I'm glad I shut that window. So my window is frosted. I put a little frosting over it. You know, that little window paper, kind of like a window tint, but it's frosted. Yeah, I have that over it right now. But it's not stopping all that sun from coming in. I don't want that much. Okay, so we got the cobalt built up now. Just a little tiny, almost looks like a bead, like a big old focal bead. We'll incorporate the side camera here and there and make it look really good. Bring it out. Okay, yeah, that is bright as hell on me. I do not like it. Anyway, there is the cobalt we built up right there, okay? So we're going to take that and we're going to incorporate some different colors in it. And we're going to make it look awesome. I'm actually going to throw some turquoise in this too. So this is blues and greens. So we're going to throw in some exotic green and some turquoise in there and color the heck out of this. Are we supposed to be clear, Red Squeak? All right, then I definitely got to cover that damn window up. It is not good. Because like when I'm looking at the flame right now, the sun is coming through my glasses and hitting my eyes direct, which is throwing my vision off on this. There we go. So I'm going to show you as we build this up in stages, we're going to kind of do this fun stuff. What are you making, right? What kind of glass does this man deal in? We are doing right now this hummingbird with flower look to it. Little hummingbird with little flower attached to it. Single hummingbird. And that's what we incorporate. All kinds of fun items. Okay, there is the green bouncing through. At least the sun's letting that color shimmer like it's supposed to. And then we're going to take the turquoise and bounce that in there too. So we're going to do both versions on here. This is going to be a really cool looking little flower for the hummingbird. I'm going to buzz all the way around there. There we go. So again, go back to side view. And you can see the two colors bouncing through right there. What's up, L to the B? Kevin's Book, thank you for the alien buddy. L to the B, thank you for the heart me. What's up, Kevin's Book? There we are. Okay, next step is we're going to start spiraling and making all those colors bounce in this blue. Now the trick on this is we're going to do a little bit of blue and we're going to do a little bit of clear. So we're going to mix it up a tiny bit. Trying to find a light version of this blue around. Nope, that is definitely not that. That is red. Don't want red. Okay, you're a little bit of blue, but short. I just need a longer blue rod here. Nope. We got one. All right, so we're going to kind of do that finger painting technique, but I'm going to do it a little bit of blue and a little bit of clear, and we're going to mix this whole thing up. So this process that I'm doing right now, I call finger painting. It is exactly what it sounds like, except at 3,000 degrees. So it is a matter of just taking that glass, all those little circles running around it, and mixing it up, blending it in, and swirling them around, just like you would with finger painting. And I'm going to show you that process side view again. Yeah, the camera's really getting thrown off right now. Now look at that. At least the sun's helping me with that. See those colors swirling in now? So that is the finger paint versus that. So that is what finger painting looks like before we process the whole thing. So we're going to do that in 3 separate spots, and then we're going to use clear and do that in 3 separate spots. Yeah, the sun is helping for that. It's just annoying the hell out of me. I feel like a vampire right now because I'm like anti-sun at the moment. I feel like I'm a vampire somehow, wanting the sun to go away. But I just need to cover that window. I was just watching that series, Anne Rice's new series, Talamasca. I don't know how much I like it, but I was a huge fan of, I am a huge fan of Anne Rice's writing style. I think she was awesome. She definitely had a unique style of writing. How does my PC not overheat? I am using water cooling. So my PC is water cooled. I build custom water cooling loops in the PC using blown glass tubing too. Putting in a glass order, having heart palpitation? Yeah, I bet. So yeah, that is the finger painting. Now we're gonna do the clear. Yeah, so my PC is water cooled. I build custom water loops out of there. Who's Anne Rice? Have you ever seen Interview with the Vampire? That is Anne Rice's novel that movie was based off of. Anne Rice was a fantastic author. I could make a curtain, but it'd be outside. I think I just need to build a cardboard deflector for the stuff in there, for the window. Just a cheap piece of cardboard. I don't need to do anything super exotic. Because you guys will never see it. It won't be in view. All right, so we're finger painting the clear right now. And I'm just taking my time doing this because I thought I would take a little time today and show you the actual process of what's going on. I'm not going to try and rush through it. Like last night, we did a speed run on the hummingbird at the very end, and I try and keep them under 6 minutes when I make the actual hummingbird, and we hit it at 5.5 minutes. So 5 minutes, 30 seconds. Which is a pretty good time for my old butt. Okay, we're going to bring this back out. Yeah, bamboo roller shade actually would be a good idea. So now you can see all those colors. Isn't that beautiful how that finger painting looks? This is a technique that if you ever do a glass experience with me, this is something you will definitely do. 100%. I'm going to make sure that anybody that does this, like a live experience with me, will be doing this. And that will be hopefully happening this summer. I haven't officially announced it yet, but I'll kind of let you all know what's happening in the future. Is this summer, I'm going to host a few people that will be coming into my studio and doing a live glassblowing experience. So having never done it before, ever, you get invited to come to the studio. You need to pay for your own transportation and hotel. Unfortunately, there are rules for that too. But anyway, the lesson itself, the experience will be free. So you will spend however many hours you can handle in my studio with me, and I will guide you on how to make some items for fun. And then when you get done making those items, you get to take them home from your experience. Like I said, I cannot pay for the transportation or the hotel because I can't be liable for any of that. But the experience while you're here, you can definitely have all that. So that'll be a fun thing. I don't know how I'm going to implement that, whether we're going to have a contest for it, how that's going to be generated. But that is my plan for this summer, is to bring a few people into the studio. You have to agree to be able to do this on live stream. So if you're not comfortable being in front of the camera, I would suggest not applying. But yeah, it'll be a full experience, start to finish, and that is a good deal. My materials, my everything on that front. Okay, I'm moving this stuff out of the way so we can make a nice visual here for y'all. So we're going to do a visual smushy. How about a, yeah, asking, yeah, gross. It'll be open to everybody. It's definitely going to be open to everybody. But you and Dragonfly are already included in that. You don't have to apply. All right, there we go. So those are the colors. All right, we're going to smash it down and turn it to a flower. Yeah, you and Dragonfly, Red Squeak, any of the mods are already qualified. Yeah, I'm not worried about that. Okay, so the next step is to make this flower, we're going to smash it down into kind of like a disc. So we're going to superheat this, and we're going to bring it over to that space I cleared out and smash it down. It will look kind of like a wizard hat when we get done. And we're going to bring it over. A little bit more. We're going to heat it up. And smash. This is a satisfying little push. I wish it made noise, but it doesn't. It's just a visual. Doesn't make any noise. All right, we're going to go to a side camera so you guys can see that. Yeah, the sun's finally settling behind my trees. So this is the visual. Now we're going to use a little lighting here. So there is what's going to be on the inside of the flower, and then there is the outside. You can see that turquoise kind of bouncing through, and those greens. So that's going to be on the outside, all those swirls. I think the inside of this, we may actually fume it. Bayo, have a good one. Thank you for hanging in. Yep, this evening, definitely log in. We're going to have a great stream this evening. Tonight, we have the first of the Valentine's flowers being made. So tonight is the first of the Valentine flower series being done. Okay, what did I do with my needle nose? Okay, so to make this flower, we're going to use needle nose pliers, okay? Ordinary needle nose. You do not need to have special versions of this. If you can find them at the dollar store, they'll be fine. So not a big thing. In fact, try and keep them as cheap as possible. The thing that I look at is the ability for it to freely open. You don't want it binding. So you should be able to take 2 fingers and open it like that. If you can't, then don't use them. All right, so we're going to take that and we're going to smash it all the way around on this little disc here. And here we go. We're just going to trail all the way around. Okay, if you feel like your tool is sticking, you just dip it in water, cool it back off. So when these get hot, they will tend to want to stick. They'll like grip the glass. Dip it back in. Little secret there. You can also spray them with graphite. That'll stop it too. All right, so we created a little bit of a flower shape here. This flower shape doesn't really matter what it looks like in the beginning. Okay, we just kind of, what we're looking for is to kind of get it curving up a little and create a little bit of that dipping in there. So what I find is like, see that spot right there that it's really elongated but skinny? That'll be the spot where I'm going to pull it into the top portion of the flower, meaning that'll be where the bird gets attached. And that's kind of the things I look for as I'm going through. So right here, this part right here. So we're going to heat that up first. Now the key, if you are one of the glassblowers that watches on here and you're trying to pick up some tips and tricks, do not heat the whole flower, okay? I'm not heating here. I'm only heating the back end. I don't want the whole flower to stretch. Just this portion. If you heat the whole thing, I guarantee you it will not turn out right. So you grip it and start heating this way. So another little tip and trick here is try not to heat the inside. That flame will come back and bite you, like it reflects in there. It'll come back and bite your hand right here with the heat. So just briefly right there. Okay, we're going to bring it out and I'm going to stretch it on camera so y'all can see it. Like that. That wasn't intentional, but it's okay too. So we'll go back to a side view. And you guys can see now we pulled that into its shape right there. Now we're going to enhance it a little bit with a carbon tool and manipulate it a tiny bit, but that is the beginning of it. And we're going to bring it back out. If you have questions, you are watching the stream and you have any questions, feel free to pose them in the chat. I don't mind answering them. We're kind of on an item that I've done thousands of times, so I have the opportunity to read chat and talk. This isn't where I'm like super focused. Okay, we're going to start manipulating this a little, creating little dipsies. Flower. Yeah, this is kind of a different flower. So this is what I call the solid sculpted flower, as opposed to the multi-leaf pattern. And the reason I like this one is it's extremely durable. The multi-leaf pattern ones are durable, but they have their limitations as to how much they can get bumped into a window. This one can get bumped into a window multiple times and it's going to be pretty stable. It's not going to go breaking on you because of the way it's built and structured. And right now I'm just adding these little squishies in here. There's another Jason term, a squishy. All right, I'm going to show you the squishy and right up close. Yeah, purple would look really good. Any of the colors look really good. So we're going to heat this up. Can you guys see that okay? We're going to heat it up this way. This does have the didymium filter on it, so it should be filtering out some glass, some lighting. We're going to bring it out, and you can see just that push like that. And it creates that little movement right there, and it creates a little flowery pattern. Like that. What's up, Dale? Probably the window would break before the fire. It's possible. Yeah, it definitely has some cracking ability to it. All right, we're going to bring this out like that. Okay, we got that flower in there. Going to preheat it a little bit. So I'm going to show it to you all, and we're going to decide as a group whether we should fume the inside of it, meaning change the color on the inside a little bit, as opposed to leaving it as is. How many years have I been working with glass? 32 years, Chipskins. 32 freaking years. I know I don't look a day over 19, but hey. 19 squared, or actually 19 cubed. There we are. So there is the flower that we just built, okay? I'm going to shine a light on it. so we can get some, look at that. Is that not gorgeous? So this is why I like the sun reflection, but I'm not 1,000% happy with that little interior right there. I think I'm going to shoot it with some silver, and we're going to change it up a little bit on the inside. The outer portion is just freaking gorgeous. Okay, nothing wrong with that. But I think the inside we should change. So we're going to do that right now. I don't know if I do have silver preheated in there. So we're going to change that. I don't know what kind of flower. This is the funky flower. Just call it the funky flower. It has absolutely no purpose whatsoever as far as a certain design. All right, we're going to grab that silver and we're going to pop it right on the inside here very carefully. So one more time before we get started, this is a little magical trick. One more time, camera up front. You can see the interior. Okay, we're going to change it right now. Okay, where did I put my rod? There it is. So very light fume into the center. I'm going to change this flame just a little bit. There we go. So what's happening in this process is there's a little tiny chunk of silver in here. And it is superheating and turning to a gas. And that gas or particle, small particle section is vaporizing and being carried by the torch to the main object. So remember how it looked before? Watch now. So see how it just enhanced the color a little bit? We're going to change it again. We're going to do it live so you all can see it. Actual live stream time. And now you can see we just made that rainbow effect. Look how beautiful that is now. So that, let me turn this down because that's throwing you guys off. So now we have that rainbow effect on it like that. Isn't that pretty? And that's just enhancing it with the silver. Big difference there, right? Kind of looks like a calla lily. Yeah, I just call it the funky flower. Oh, sorry, camera view. I just call it a funky flower because it doesn't really have a specific flower. What's up, Jen Grandma 5? How are you? Gonna pop in some Mountain Dew. You think it looks much better? High on fiber? I think it looks much better too. It just enhances, the silver can enhance the colors. Not just change them, it can actually enhance them. All right, so we have to do a hummingbird for that particular item. And we need to do it in blues and greens. So we're gonna add a little bit of slime green, and we're gonna use a shimmer green, and we're gonna twist them up and create a really cool little pattern here for the wings and tail. Before we get started. So we're going to make a specific pattern for the wings and tail on this guy. We're going to use, nope, that is pink. You'll, I don't know about that. Oh, this will be good right here. So we're going to take and we're going to stripe it with slime green and then the shimmer green, and we're going to twist it up into what's called a latticino, kind of like a swirled color there. And then when we apply that to the wings, it'll give it kind of like an organic feather look. Like a little organic feathery look to it. And that is the goal. I want it to look very, very organic. I don't want the same exact coloring all the way throughout it. So we're going to change it up right now. Okay, had to make sure that wasn't pink. Okay. All right, let's do it now. So we're going to lay down the lime green or the slime green. So we attach and we stripe down. And while we're just going on instructional little fun stuff here, one of the things I'll point out, especially for new glass blowers, if you're watching, is how I apply this color. I am moving the actual object, not the colored rod. So this flame varies, every flame varies in temperature from top to bottom. Okay, so it's, for this particular torch, it's colder here, colder up here. Right in this spot is the hottest point. So if I started trying to pull the color through, it would go slow, fast, slow, and create an inconsistent pull, like an inconsistent line. So we keep it in the hot spot, like right here, and I move the actual object itself so that the flame consistency stays the same. And I always tell people it's like if I gave you a pen and paper and I said, write your name, you would have to move the paper, not the pen. Exactly the same way of what I'm doing now. It's a little awkward at first, but you do get used to it. You definitely get used to it. My liquid tank's building pressure now, so the thing's going to change. Thank you, Jen. Yeah, this alternate view is actually really awesome. And I got a third camera now, so we're going to be changing it up. All right, so there's the slime green. That's the look I want right back there. I don't want that much. I want it looking like that. So now we're going to take the shimmer green and go on the opposite side. So we should have two different greens bouncing through this guy. And we're going to leave a lot of clear in here to keep it looking like glass. I want it to continuously look like glass. I don't want it to look plastic or ceramic. And adding too much color can definitely change up that look, the makeup on there. Okay, and one more here. Like that. And then I'll show you the view on this way again. What's up, Tess? Okay, so now we got the shimmer green there, clear, and lime green in between. Okay, two different rows of color bouncing through there. Next step is we got to balance this out, so we're going to take some clear and go right in between those greens, and this keeps it round. So we're just going to balance the whole thing out by adding clear in between the two gaps. And I forgot to breathe again. So I have a weird little tick on here. As I'm applying this color, I forget to breathe. I hold my breath. I don't know if it's a habit or it helps stabilize while I'm doing this, but I'm going to try and talk my way through this. So I actually breathe while doing this. But I had noticed in the past, as I'm doing this, I am not breathing, like holding my breath. And I don't know if it's something for stability or whatever. Okay. No, I won't pass out. I'm not going to hold that long. Okay, so we got all the colors bouncing. So we got green, clear, green, clear. And we're going to turn this into a usable rod for the hummingbird we're about to make. Okay, this is silver. We're going to park that back in. Right there. And we already pre-did the flower, so that part's good. Okay, we got the attachment right there. And we're going to heat it up and start twisting it around a little. I don't want a super tight spiral. It just needs to be twisted. It doesn't have to be a specific way. In fact, the less structured it is, the better it will turn out when I start making the wings. Here we go. We're looking really good. We're doing fine. Okay, we're going to keep going. And we're going to go all the way to the end here. A little bit more. I'm trying to maximize every little bit on here. So this last little bit, I tapered it down a little thinner because this is where the tail's going to be from. And we need it a little bit thinner for the tail section of the bird. So we have it spiraled like there. I'll use the side view so we can do it that way. I've had a few little burns, nothing that was terrible. I don't have any like epic burns that I can like tell some war stories about. I just don't have any. I've never had that bad a burn. So yeah, we got that spiraling all the way down. It's like a gigantic unicorn head. Never ending, right? The flame is roughly 3,800 to 4,000 degrees. See, unicorn head. Okay, so we're going to let that sit for a moment and cool off. And we're going to move on to finishing the flower portion, and then we'll make the bird and assemble everything. Yeah, the mushroom pendant is glowing. So this is the Lucy and uranium pendant. I'll show you. We'll do a visual on the side camera. I really need to clean my bench. I definitely have to do it before tonight. So there is the mushroom non-glowing. We're going to come over to the side view like that. And then we're going to hit it with a black light. And then you can see the visual of it with the pink and the uranium like that. Isn't that pretty? Like that. Come back this way. There. She's a keeper on that. I'm doing good. I'm doing actually pretty fantastic. Thank you for asking. What gas is that? Oxygen and propane. Yeah, oxygen and propane are the two gases. I don't go through that much propane, to be honest. Yeah, my liquid tank, it definitely needs some pressure building. We're pretty limited on how hot I can get right now. Okay. Let's finish this flower off, and then we'll make the bird. So this is the flower we're going to be making a bird for. We'll use the side view like this. So there is the flower we're going to use this with, and we're going to add a little light to it. You can see the rainbow effect on it now. And this is the back end. So we're going to pull this, I got to pull this little stem down, the blue, into a vine. And then we will make the hummingbird and do a full attachment. So right now we're just going to pull this whole thing out. So a little tiny attachment right there. And we're going to heat up here. I think I'm going to silver fume this, to be honest. I think we're going to add some silver and make it organic. Just warm all this up. Don't want it cracking. Okay, we're going to bring it over here, detach this clear rod for the moment. Bring it down. Again, we're going to go side view just real quick. You can see that that's all clear right there, just kind of dilly-dally bobble right there. We're going to add some silver to it. And what happens here is the silver is a vaporizing process. It's called fuming. Basically, the silver gets heated up to a microparticle, a fume, and it transfers via the flame. The flame, as a conduit, carries the silver over, and it coats that glass like that. Going to enhance it for 1 second. Basically, silver plated that glass real quick. I'll show it to you side view one more time, so you can see we now silver plated that little portion right there. You can see it's definitely got some color change to it. Okay, we're going to take a little clear, incorporate it on there, and then we're going to do what I call a taffy technique, where we're going to fold on top of each other and kind of make it look like a vine. So right now, everywhere I put this clear is just going to create another separate color altogether. And it should kind of have a blue-green effect. There we go. Okay, let's grip it. So we're going to put this rod back on it. Kick a bigger flame up. All right, so this is called the taffy pull. It very much looks like candy making, like when they make taffy. If you've ever seen that process, it looks very, very, very similar as I'm making it now. Okay, so we're going to take it out and fold, stretch, and fold. Make sure we get it all heated up back in. Build the heat base back up and text and fold. Attach and fold. And I want it just kind of organically looking like there's no organization to it whatsoever. And that way we get the most colors bouncing through it in an unorthodox way. And one last fold that way. Attach. Then we're going to take it and we're going to stretch it way out and create a little bit of a vine effect. Got to heat it up and pull it and make it look as organic as possible. With a little artistic flair, right? All right, so we're going to stretch way out. Now look how long this has to go to create just a short stem. Then we bring it over and fold it, loop it and swoop it. And there we go. So you can see we kind of looped it, swooped it, got it all down that way. Now when we burn it off, we're going to burn it off down here. There we are. We're looking pretty good on this flower. Going to leave it really chunky up here because this is where the hummingbird is going to get attached. Okay, so side view real quick. And there we are. So there we are. We got the flower. We got the stem built on it. We're going to use a little light source here, and you can see the colors bouncing through. Look at all the colors bouncing through that vine. That's what I was saying with the silver. We got all those little colors bouncing through. I love this shot. I love the back end. That looks amazing. And then the underneath. Yeah, so we're good on that. Let's park it in the kiln. And we're going to make a hummingbird for it. So it will look very close to this one here, other than we're only going to have one flower or one bird in the flower. This one has a little baby hummingbird down here, but we're going to attach the bird like that, which is going to be amazing. So we're going to be making a pretty cool bird here. Give me 1 second. So the bird is going to be in the spiral pattern of the green. I think we're going to have to incorporate some cobalt for the body and make it look really good. We're going to do a little bit of both. I think that, you know what though? I don't think I want to do cobalt body. I think we're going to use this. I had a little piece of grape or dark amethyst, which is this right here. I'm going to see if you guys can see this. Let me let this flame kind of chill out for a second. I'm going to see if you guys can see it. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. All right, where's the camera go? There we go. All right, so this is called dark amethyst. I don't know if you're going to see the purple coming out of it. I don't think you're going to get it. Yeah, you're not going to see it right now. It's almost like a black. I don't necessarily want that green and blue. I don't want to do a cobalt body. I really don't want that with the green. Yeah, we're going to do amber purple. So we're going to use this. We're going to use this amber purple for the body. I think we're going to get a really good effect with it. You just ordered some of the dark amethyst. It's a really good color. It's very much like black. All right, so we're going to use amber purple for the body here, and we should get some really cool ambers with swishy purples and blues coming out of this. Right now I'm just building up the hummingbird body itself. Okay, let's kick on the big flame, get a little bit faster process here. All right, so there we are. This is going to be the beginning of the hummingbird body. So it's kind of like a little teardrop. Callie, how are you? Thank you for the gift membership you sent. Appreciate it. What's up, Cruisin'? How you doing? Good to see you in. Callie Green's cruising in the house. Over there on the YouTube. What's up, Corn Dog? How you doing? Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to adjust my liquid tank. This is not building enough pressure. All right, so we're going to take this way, and we're going to pull into the tail guidance, my guideline for the tail. Almost looks like a little chili pepper starting off right now, or a little comma type action. Uncle Scooby, thank you for the power potion. Appreciate that. Okay, so we're going to get started. This is the rod we made earlier, right? So you can see all the little organic swirls running through there. And I got to split this. Hold on. I don't want to do it the other way. There we are. Without burning my hand. There. All right, so we're going to start using, so this should create a really organic tail and feathers look for wings and tail. It should look very organic, I'm hoping. I'm going to bring it across. There we are. Switch it to the other side. Going to use a smaller flame. Because the holding rod that I have is so short, if I use the bigger flame, it will come back and bite me in my arm, and I do not want that. I definitely don't want that happening. Okay. Right there. So I'm going to show you what it kind of looks like in the side view. And we'll see if you all can see it happening in real time. And it's not showing up so much in there right now, but the colors are definitely bouncing through there. I'm just having a hard time seeing it right now. The wings will definitely show it better. And that amber purple looks really good for the body. So we're going to bring it over here and separate this for the head. Put that off to the side. And we got some beautiful colors bouncing through. And then we have to build a very, very strong attachment here for the hook. This is where all the weight is going to be, this is going to be bearing all the weight of the glass. So this has to be incredibly strong. Bring it over and just kind of take our time bouncing that in. Make sure it's nice and straight. This is a little detail I'm going to show someone. I'll show you all what makes the difference in quality versus not. So you can see that loop. While that's functional, it's not optimal, okay? So we're going to just take a moment, heat it up, and give it a little bit of a rounding here. And when I used to train glass blowers, this is exactly the type of thing I would train them with. Is now look how much cleaner that loop is, okay? It took, what, 10 seconds to go through and do that. And those little minute details make the difference between a piece that someone wants to, you know, buy and keep versus not. That little tiny detail right there. All right, so let's get the wings done. We should be able to have a nice visual of these wings now. Bring that out and let's polish that off a little bit. Bring it back down. And you might be able to see the colors kind of bouncing through there now. A little bit of dark and light. It needs to cool off before we get the full effect, but now you can see what's happening with this bird. Is that not beautiful or what? So let's get the other wing done. Just kind of bringing it through. And last little bit on this. Pull it down and out. Smooth that little chunky monkey out right there. Okay, this is the hardest part. So we got to make the beak off of this lumpy stuff. And this is the problem with it, is because each glass has a different consistency, when you pull it, it pulls at different rates. So when I'm pulling this down, I need to make sure that I take it very slow so we don't get lumpy in there. that. All right, we're good. Now you definitely don't want to have a lumpy birdie. Okay, if I was my little, there we are. Bring it way down, taper it down a little bit, and put some eyeballs on here. Okay, we're good. Let's go ahead and show you what it looks like completed on the bird end, and then we're going to assemble the entire project. Now, did I tell you that was going to be pretty or what? And there's the little beak, all nice and even. So yeah, so those little marks will burn out too, but yeah. So now we got all kinds of cool colors bouncing through there. Let's go ahead and do the assembly onto the flower. Got to make sure both ends, the bird and the flower, are super hot. I call it the ooey gooey. Got to make sure it's ooey gooey. Okay, and then we take it and fuse it together. Center the bird on there. And I think we're good. We're going to detach the tail. There we are. Perfect. Smooth that out, and I'll show you. It's got to go in the kiln before I completely finish it to pull the end off. But there we are. We got all the colors bouncing through it. It's going to get even better over time here, but here we go. Look at that. So we got lots of color bouncing through this project. And then we'll burn it off down there so it'll hang. But yeah, lots of colors running through this guy. And that is the hummingbird flower from start to finish completion, like right there. That's the process of doing that and how you make it. Okay, so I need to shut down for just a little bit and turn my pressure builder on my oxygen tank up, because right now the flame is not adjusting. I'm adjusting my oxygen right now to full bore, and it's just not working. So I don't have any pressures built up. I can't finish any more work until I go out and turn that up and let it build for a few minutes. So I'm going to shut down very temporarily and then come back in just a little bit and bring it back up on the live streams as soon as I got pressure built out there. But right now I have no working pressure. So we're going to get that done. So let me get that handled, probably about 15-20 minutes for that to take place. So I'll see you in 15-20 minutes if you want to hang around with me.